Hello and welcome to this app demo on the GL line items Fiori app. This app is based on transaction code FBL3N in SAP ECC. The display line items transaction code is arguably the single most commonly used transaction code by accounting folks. So let's get right into it. Um, there are four selection fields for this report, and the ones that are required fields are marked by a little red star against the label. And the user chooses to run the report without specifying values. For these mandatory fields, the app prompts them to go and enter the values. This is too simple. Okay, so this is the view for the GL account 610040, and the default view is based on the ALV list variant that's been set as the default for the user for this transaction code, and that can be seen here. Like so, default, and this list report, firstly, you can download the list report into Excel. That's always a important thing for accounting users. They open a report and they see all the columns that they need to see. That's number one. Once we get that out of the way, because there are 356 records in this report, there is essentially a need from users' perspective to be able to sort, filter, and add or delete columns in the report, and move the column order and so on. So all this is done by the settings dialog. The settings dialog contains three segments: columns, sort, filter. So let's go through this one by one. Firstly, the columns segmented button lists out all the fields, 132 of them in total, that are available for the GL line item report. This is exactly the same set of fields that you would see in FBL3N. And then what the user could do is they could search for a field and then select it. By selecting it, it gets added, and you can see that the company code is added here. And then what the user could do is the user could move the column so that it appears as the column just after document number. Once the user does this and says apply, the document number appears as the second column. So that's the first thing. The next thing is the sort. The sort segmented button essentially shows all the fields that have been set as sort characteristics or sort fields in the list variant. And what the user could do fundamentally is kind of start from scratch and do an ad hoc assignment, So what they could do is, for example, they could sort descending, and they could do like this. So this will sort the list based on document number descending. Okay. And if the user so chooses to add additional fields, then those additional fields will be sorted and the sort order will be maintained. So if you add another field, for example, text, and it's sorted based on whatever, then after the next sort field, the second sort field will be in effect after the first sort field. So that's how standard ALV works, and we've maintained the same functionality here as well. The third one is the filter, which is probably slightly more interesting, and it's crucial simply because it's a big list and the users would like to actually select records that satisfy a certain criteria. So what they could do is essentially they could say amount So local currency amount, which is the column that's been selected, local currency amount equal to 7,500. Apply, and they get all records that are 7,500. And then in this list, let's assume they would like to actually filter for an additional attribute, which is text. And what they could do is they could do this. They can add an additional attribute, and then this could be text. And they could say contains, and ACC contains a string ACC in the text field. And then they would get all the records which have ACC as part of the text. And that's what you see here. So the first record which contained a blank for the text field is now gone. Now let's do another little exercise. So we'll delete this and we'll use the exclude part of the filter, and we'll say basically text contains, exclude text contains ACC, which is essentially do not select records that contain text ACC, and then you'll get the one record wherein the text was blank. And then let's do another thing. Not only this, so this is, as you can see, it's extremely powerful, and all the filter operators that are commonly that are used in SAP are available, including between, for example. So you could say between. So there are two amounts here, 7,500 and 35,000. So if you say between 10,000 and 40,000, you'll get only those records that are 35,000. There you go, like so. So that's essentially the summary of these settings dialog. Once these values, the ad hoc values have been selected, and the user would like to save this as a separate variant, all the user needs to do is to basically say test demo variant, and you can say Z and user specific. By selecting user specific, these variants will only be visible to the user that created them. So in my case, it'll just be visible to me. Save. So now that variant is now visible, and you can see, look at manage, you'll be able to see them under user specific variant. So that finishes up this demo on the GL line item report. I hope you liked it. Thank you.